Well, good morning and welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us. Of course, Emil Lee is with us as we work our through our weekly edition of a St. Martin Insights news that matters to you. Good morning, sir.
Good
Welcome back.
morning. Good
Welcome,
morning. Always
welcome
good to
back.
be here.
Yeah. So listen, I wanted to wander back a little bit if we could to the interview we did with GEBE
Mm-hmm.
um, on Tuesday. It was Tuesday this week,
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday morning. And one of the things that they, we had asked about the ordering of new generators, and one of the things we heard Thomas, the CEO, tell us was that he had to be careful about what he said because he was under a non-disclosure agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why? And a lot of people, um, I think, reacted negatively to that comment.
Yeah. There were
Uh,
some comments on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and being under when you're in that type of a competitive situation, um, having a non-disclosure agreement is actually a good thing
Sure.
for on a variety of levels. Um, so the fact that we still don't know whether the shareholder and the government has not arranged the or finalized the financing to actually order what needs to be ordered is problem.
No, I think they do have. I think the government, if I remember, has actually received the money from Holland already. I think
Right.
they actually have the money in their bank account.
So why have we not ordered the stuff yet? Is the question.
Yeah. So apparently, one of the conditions on it is that there's a procurement process. So in other words, there's a an official process to make sure that they're getting the best price when they're purchasing the generators. And so that whole process of putting out a tender, are you
Uh,
going to bid it? I think that's the area that's should be under a non-disclosure.
well,
Just
right,
I think the Roganov didn't quite understand that. We just really wanted to know, are they ordered, when are they going to be here, right?
right,
Which is not top secret information, right?
right.
So I think he didn't understand that we're not looking for the deal, the
Who and
insights into the deal, who's supplying, etc. Just when are they going to be here?
right, exactly. Um, so the notion that there's a non-disclosure agreement, I think, is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to get, the most competitive bids from as many vendors that are going, they can provide the product that you need, right? And if all that is out in public space, people are less likely to want to participate in the bid. They're less likely to want to provide you with their best price.
Right.
And quite frankly, don't necessarily want all of your information out in the public space either, as the purchaser of what the product is either. And those are the reasons that in competitive situations you have NDAs.
Right.
And
Agreed.
and it's a good thing for all of us, including the people that live here.
Right.
What is troublesome is that we're now almost 3 years post hack.
Right.
When are we going to order the freaking generators?
Right. Right.
When are they going to be here? And we still don't really have an answer to that question. When are they going to be ordered? When is the tender and the bid and the selection process going to be complete? And when will we pull the trigger and order the generators?
And I will say, there's sort of a technical issue in that I believe all of the generators that we have, except for the containerized generators, which good news is they're actually not really using them. They're only using them when a generator's down for maintenance or
Mhm.
something. So that was good news. But I think all of the big generators are actually from a company called Wärtsilä.
Correct.
I forget their Northern European which
Mm.
country they're from. So there is a value in keeping to the same brand because in terms of stocking parts and things like that, I mean, you see it. Airlines, they do it all the time, right? They try and stick to certain planes in their fleet
Right.
so they don't have to maintain, you know, so many different parts for so many different aircraft, right? And the same with the generators. A lot of the parts are interchangeable if it's the same brand.
Sure.
If they change brands, all of a sudden they need to keep two sets of parts. And so there's a question there. So I don't know how they're going to sort of resolve that. In the past, I know that's been an issue. How do you put this out to bid when you actually only want, you know, engines from Wärtsilä? So we'll see. We'll see how they're going
Yeah.
to resolve it.
And
The
yeah,
fact that I think they're buying three, so that's enough that you'd say, okay, maybe it is worth it to consider a brand shift. So
well,
we'll see.
pick one, right?
Yeah,
It's really simple. Decide who you're going to go with, and go with it.
yeah,
But time's a wasting, and we can't waste any more time because every the longer we wait, um, the harder this is going to be, um, and the more problematic things will become as our existing um, uh, you know, capacity ages, right? As our existing machines continue to age, the worse it becomes. The worse it becomes. And I'm looking.
and
Good.
actually, I wish I had remembered to ask Romy yesterday, but there's a lot of big projects under construction, right? You have the one by Simpson Bay Bridge, you have the one on Simpson Bay Beach, you have one now where the restaurant was by the bridge there that they're tearing down, and that they're building a new place there. So there's a lot of big condo projects that are coming online, and that's going to result in an energy demand. So it'll be very interesting to see if Romy is now coordinating that with GB, because they need to plan for future energy consumption.
It's something that we need to do. It's something that we need to do, and it's something that, quite frankly, we just can't afford to wait any longer. And what I
Right.
don't understand is why why are we dawdling? And next time I have, so I suspect that a lot of this is probably being managed through the NRPB would be my guess.
I I
But
believe.
I'm gonna call Claret Connor and
Yes.
ask him, are they involved with the sourcing of the new generators, and where do we stand with that? Because it's time. It's
Right.
time that we just move forward. But
So
yeah,
yesterday's Council of Ministers press briefing was supposed to be the Minister of Education and Minister of Romy, um, and the Minister of Education just didn't show up, which was disappointing. I don't know if you noticed there was a press release out earlier this week where they had test results out for sort of a baseline study that they're doing about the performance of groups 3 and 5 in the primary school system. So group 3 is roughly grade 1, children around 6 years old, and group 5 is roughly grade 3 from 8 to 9 years old. And she said that the results were very troubling, that the performance level was low, that people's the children's reading skills were below par, and so I really wish she had come, and maybe we need to just invite her back for another show, because um, I think if the product out of our educational system isn't up to par, that product is in the workforce for the next,
30 years.
30 years. And so that means the children that are there now, we're going to be sort of managing this for the next 40 years. That's a huge problem for this island.
Especially when you look at how small the workforce is,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um, the other thing, can I change gears on YouTube?
Sure.
So I haven't read a lot of the stuff that has been circulated, but I've caught snippets of the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
One was our prime minister questioning the the constitutional system that we have in place
Mm-hmm.
and whether it was appropriate. And then I saw, it was the front page of the Daily Herald this morning. The President of Parliament, Sarah Westcott Williams, has called for a renewed examination of whether St. Martin's constitutional arrangements are suitable for a small island developing the state. Because you have to wonder, in my mind, you know, as we look at where we are, you know, 10 years, 15 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, no, 10 years. 10 years.
10,
No,
10, 10.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. 15 years post um, becoming a country within the kingdom. Um, I'm scratching my head, going, who's better off? 15 years later, are we better off,
Hmm.
or are the people that are the islands of Bonaire, uh, Saba, and Statia better off when they became effectively towns within the Kingdom of the Netherlands?
Hmm.
And when I look at what's happened in Bonaire, and I look at what's going on in Saba, and to be honest, I don't have a lot of experience in Statia, so I can't really comment there. Um, it would seem that things are far better off 15 years later, in the islands that chose to become effectively special overseas geographical political subdivisions, or towns, if you will, within the Netherlands. It seems like they're far better off than us.
Right. Well, I mean, there's certainly room to now evaluate and see, how it's working. I think so. The prime minister is referring to what you're talking about.
Right.
I think the president of parliament has more to do with what they call a dispute regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So so you have the kingdom partners and they have these meetings, but in the end, really, the Netherlands, of course, is the one who has the money, and so the islands, Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin, sort of feel like, okay, how is our voice heard when there's a dispute between the partners? How does that get resolved? I haven't read the article, but I think that's more what she's referring to. So indeed, there's sort of two tracks to that discussion.
I mean, I would love to have both the prime minister and the president of parliament together
Hmm.
in the same interview to talk about this.
Right.
Because you know what, the one thing I think we can all agree on is that what we're doing now doesn't seem to be working with any type of efficiency or effectiveness. Um, and you look at where we were 10 years ago, and you look at where we are today. Well, other than we've poured a lot more concrete on the island, I feel like we're exactly the same place that we were 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's
Um,
every system. I mean, again, I was just referring to that press release from education. It certainly seems that our educational system needs a pretty dramatic overhaul, reform, change, right?
mhm.
We've had discussions now with the Minister of Justice coming in, and it's very clear that our justice system needs
Same
reform, change, right? That the product of our education system is creating um,
substandard.
employment opportunities, and actually, again, I wish the Minister of Education was there, because what is the family unit supposed to be doing? How are we encouraging families? Because it isn't only the schools; the families also need to support the development of children.
And then I think about just I had Vrami and Patrice Gums,
Hmm.
Minister Vrami, along with Clark Connor yesterday, talk about the wastewater project that is going on, where they're going to connect 1,500 homes directly to the
Hmm.
sewage treatment plant, which I think is a great thing that we're doing, and it's a $25 million project. Part of it part of it funded by government, part of it funded by the trust fund, and and this is only 1,500 homes being connected
Right.
to the sewage treatment plant. Um, that goes nowhere towards the size of the investment. If it's 25 million for 1,500 homes to get connected, well, that the size of the capital investment that's required is huge.
Right.
And handling your sewage is probably one of the most important things that we do from a public health perspective.
I think it's also upgrading the plant, the sewage treatment plant. So I don't think you can't just say the 25 is just to connect the homes. It's I think upgrading the facility as
Well,
well.
and it's upgrading it's less about, they've got to get the the connection, the sewage line all the way down LB Scott Road, all the way down to St. Peter's, and then up into St. Peter's.
Yeah.
That's it. That's even before we go and say, okay, here are the 1,500 homes that we need to now trench and connect to by pipe to the
So,
connection.
so and it's good you bring it up, because that's actually one of the questions I asked. Is, first of all, just for people to keep in mind, when they actually execute this project, the impact on traffic is going to be huge, right? Because you're going to have a backhoe in the middle of the road
Right.
digging up along the
Well,
side,
so they
right?
had a public session, a public meeting last night to
Uh,
get insight from the public. They're supposed to start, I say, Q3 or
did you
Q4.
go?
No, I didn't
Oh,
go.
okay.
I didn't go last night. I had other commitments last night. But that was the public session was last night to gain feedback from the public in the area about what their plans are and how they're going to manage all of these issues while this project goes on, because it's Q3 Q4 26. So
Okay.
we're a little ways out, but at least we're talking to the people that will be directly impacted, so everybody can
So
have some.
traffic's going to be impacted.
Mm,
So I certainly hope the project doesn't delay into the high season because like traffic now is horrible.
right.
Imagine if you were doing this project starting today or so.
Yeah.
It would be a
Bad.
nightmare, right?
Bad.
And then
Bad.
the
Bad.
other thing I asked him is, since you're going to be trenching and doing all of this, are you at least going to work with the other, utility companies if they need to run, electricity, if they need to run, fiber, things like that?
Let's
I
be smart.
certainly hope that you're going to
Let,
coordinate with other people.
Let's do this. Let me take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
More St. Martin Insights news that matters to you. 8:52. Welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us. St. Martin Insights news that matters to you. Let's talk traffic, Emil,
Yeah,
because it's been a little bit of a nightmare.
for sure. And all hours of the day, even 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Sometimes it's been tough, and so it just makes it hard to plan. So, but I did bring up the topic with our minister of Romy, Patrice Gums, and I said, we did notice that they've put white markings around potholes,
And they're slowly filling them.
and they're slowly starting to fill them.
They're doing a very sloppy job of filling them. And and I know a
Have you
little bit.
seen them do it?
Yeah.
So it's not is it Windward Roads that's doing it,
No,
or
it's
is
not.
it?
It's not Windward Roads. I asked that question. It's Washington Construction that's doing it.
So they're
Um,
doing bags of the asphalt
they're
mix.
doing it's a hot asphalt patch,
Okay,
um, which is a typical short term patch solution to a pothole.
right.
But there's a way to do it right where you know you properly cut out around the existing pothole. You
Clean out the hole.
you fill it with process or gravel, and then you patch over the top with the hot asphalt, and then you hit it with the roller so that it's flat. And when you look at the way that the process is being done, it's being done very sloppy, right? Um, I have not seen them actually, so I can't say what they're putting in the hole, but I can tell you by looking at the end result. It's not. You normally if you're cleaning out the hole, you're cutting around it in a square, you're removing the debris, you're filling the hole, and then you're patching it with the hot asphalt, and then you're flattening it out. And when you look at the patch jobs, at least the ones that I've seen along Airport Road and Welfare Road, it's just like they've plopped in some hot asphalt, and in many cases, not even used the
I,
roller to
I'm
floor it.
wondering if they're really using hot asphalt because they do sell a product here, a cold asphalt
Mhm.
it's in bags, and then they might warm it a bit to just make it softer and then fill it in the holes, but not. So
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how.
yeah.
So
So
if somebody actually can, if they see them doing it, stop and take a video. It
yeah,
would
we'd
be
love
good
to.
to see how
We'd
they
love
do
to
it.
see it. I might have to. I'll have to see where there's still holes. Like here, they're pretty much all patched.
Oh yeah.
But they're
So
not.
when are they doing it? At night or?
Yeah, in the evening. It's
Okay.
been at night, and because I know I remember before I left to go for I was gone for U.S. Thanksgiving for like 10 days.
Hmm.
Before I left, they had all the holes circled, and then when I came back, they were all filled.
Hmm.
Um, but you could tell that they haven't properly flattened the asphalt. They haven't steamrolled the asphalt because
Which
it's
is why I think it's not hot asphalt.
yeah,
I'll bet you it's a cold asphalt.
yeah, and so it's just not flat, right? And so now you're creating bumps in the road, and it's like, come on, guys.
I think they figure they'll sort of settle down. They'll get compacted with traffic. So, but I brought up. I said, look. I mean, you've seen it as well, Sock. All of a sudden there's heavy equipment in the road. Some, you know, backhoe driving really slow and traffic backs up behind it. There's certain hours that they should be on the road and not on the road. Buses, it's really annoying. Buses, when they don't stop in bus stops, they block traffic, and so if they stop every 100 feet or so, it causes traffic to back up. And I've seen garbage trucks, during rush hours, picking up garbage and then stopping, blocking traffic as well. And again, they go down the road, stop, go down the road and stop. And so I asked Patrice, I said, look, besides the filling of potholes, which is absolutely necessary, what about these other things which I believe fall under the ministry? And he said, for sure, those are things that they need to take a look at. There's actually legislation that governs all of that, but it's an enforcement issue. That they have contracts with garbage haulers, and
Common problem
they're
here,
only
enforcement
supposed
issue.
to be at certain hours of the day. So that's something that he's said he will work on.
Yeah, the one thing this is the other project that's going on, and I think part of that, even though it's happening at night, um, one of the causes I think to a lot of what we're experiencing is the repaving and the resurfacing effort that's going on through Billy Folly. Um, and while it's a large initiative, if you live in Pelican, in the Pelican area, um, it does make getting in and out of Pelican during the daytime slower. And when all of that happens, all that always backs up onto the main road in coming through Simpson Bay and Coal Bay. And that I think is one of the sources of kind of the excess that we're seeing. Now, the good news about that is supposed to be finished. Tonight is the last night
For Billy Foley.
for Billy Foley,
Okay.
which means that will be repaved and done, and then we can move forward and hopefully have a slightly smoother experience.
Well, I certainly hope so. Yeah.
And with that, it is 1 minute after the hour of 9 o'clock. We look forward to seeing you next week, sir. So next year, I know you're getting ready to go out on vacation.
Yes.
So next week
Next week I'm here.
next week you're here, and then you're out for a couple.
Yes.
Celebrate the holidays.
With
Going
mom and dad. Yeah.
going up to the cold.
Yeah.
Nothing more important than seeing mom and dad.
Yeah.
And give them my best, please, and the four-legged ones too.
Yes.
It is 9:02. Stay with us. More fresh air in the morning is on the way. We'll take care of the marine and tropical weather update brought to you by K Beach Club and Restaurant. By the way, K reopening this Saturday. K like character. Marine and tropical weather update is next. Well, my friends, on time for the marine and tropical weather update is always brought to you by our good friends K Beach Club and Restaurant. By the way, K reopening on Saturday. That's tomorrow. Our good friends K like character finally reopened right there on Simpson Bay Beach, which is my favorite beach on the planet. So you check it out. You tell them Sock sent you when you go over on Saturday. Today's forecast: variably cloudy, occasionally breezy, some isolated showers. Our forecasted high today: 86 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius. Low temperature: 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 26 degrees Celsius. Sun will set today 5:38 p.m. Rise tomorrow morning 6:34 a.m. Winds out of the east, gentle to moderate breezes 8 to 17. Some hard gusts are possible. Stable weather conditions will prevail despite the isolated shower or two that may be in the area. Meanwhile, expect gentle to moderate trades to persist and slight to moderate seas over the coming days. 3 to 5 out in the waters. We'll call it all the way through Saturday. Fair to partly cloudy, breezy, some isolated showers. Looking around the region of Phillipsburg, mostly cloudy, 81. Over in Anguilla in the valley. Fair sky is 82. St. Jean over in St. Bart's. Mostly cloudy, 83. Over on the windward side of Saba, partly cloudy, 75. Down the street, the Princess Juliana International Airport, mostly cloudy skies, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Right here at the island, 92, Z105, Stonehenge Studios, mostly cloudy skies, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds out of the east, just about 10 miles an hour. No rainfall since midnight. Our humidity, 71%. Low UV risk at the moment. Our barometric pressure, 29.99 inches and rising. Extended forecast. Friday, mostly sunny, breezy, and humid, 86. Saturday, a passing shower or two in the morning, otherwise breezy, humid, sunshine through some clouds, 85 is your high. On Saturday, 78 is your low. Sunday, partly sunny, breezy, humid, 86 is your high. 78 your forecasted low on Sunday. We'll look out to Monday, a couple showers in the morning, otherwise partly sunny and humid. 86 is the high on Monday, 77 the low. That, my friends, is your marine and tropical weather update. Is always brought to you by K Beach Club and Restaurant. K like character. They reopen tomorrow. Saturday, not tomorrow. Today's only Thursday. Wishful thinking. Our good friends at K, check them out. K like character. We'll be right back.